Welcome to A Bit Later, a midlife stand up podcast. I'm Steve Ziegler, back from Jay-Z Night 3 Extra Innings. Why am I talking about this? Well, I don't have a guest this week, and it was a strange experience for me. So, to celebrate some things on A Bit Later, right? It's about folks doing stand up old later in life. And Hove's 56 years old. This is the ninth time I've seen him. I'd probably rank this seventh on that list of nine. It was tough. By now, everybody knows there's delays, 4 hour delay to start the concert. I drove to the Bronx yesterday and drove back and got home at 5:30-ish in the morning by the time I had an Egg McMuffin and went to sleep. It was about 5:30. Um, it could have been something great. And I think in any case, it could have been, probably was my last time seeing Hove live. The man needs to put out new music, right? So he rips through sets of what started strong after the delays, which really brought the energy down. I'm going to keep referring to that. Starts with the intro to the Dynasty. Didn't love that, but I realized it was perfect for the mood. Goes into like Brooklyn's Finest, where I'm from. Take Dirt Off Your Shoulder, then goes into You Don't Know, gets everybody on their feet, energy's kind of up. Where I think it went south was the Tiana Taylor as Mary J. Blige on Can't Knock the Hustle. I am not a Tiana Taylor fan. There's something there I don't enjoy about this woman. I don't get it. She's okay in one battle after another. I think there were certainly better actors in it. But why bring that into this? We're here to talk about Jay-Z. But what happened from that point is that it became this parade of celebrities. And what I think is if I would have rolled into the concert kind of after my post-concert ritual or pre-concert ritual and my post-concert ritual, if I would have rolled in immediately after that and the show started on time, it was a party. It was a party. I would have been like, maybe this isn't for me anymore. I haven't listened to Jay-Z in a while. I started to like follow the Grateful Dead a little bit more. So I don't know. Maybe I like when Hove's more introspective. I just said this, but he needs new music. Also, kind of felt like I was cosplaying a little. I don't really dress like this anymore. I just wanted to kind of be myself. But, I was in a perfect world. I was reliving my youth. This is just a fun thing. But I feel like it lost some sort of its gravity when really you just see the branding over the artistry. I think the celebrity parade, the marketing machine that is Jay-Z and that I will have to respect. I mean, I'm someone who's worked in marketing essentially and respect all that, but it takes away from the music. The best Hove show that I saw, I think, was on the Magna Carta tour, and that was like 2014-ish, 14 maybe into 15. 90 minutes rips through. Meek was there because it was Philly, but whatever. No other guest that I really remember, and just banger after banger, but like just stripped down, right? And same sort of with like Made in America. The second Made in America was great. You got the Young Gifted and Black freestyle. I'm going off the dome here because I don't want to read from a script. I also don't have actual glasses on or contact lenses, so I'm going to have to get into that after this. But for me, it's like it's strange. It's strange to have hustle music playing when you want to go Betty Buys. I think the vibe just got messed up. So Here's who I didn't need on that bill last night, right? Tana Taylor, no. Usher, no. And maybe Fat Joe. I feel bad about Fat Joe. 3 hours earlier, most people are saying would have been bangers. He and Jadakiss came out for New York toward the end in the encore portion, and it just didn't keep the whole crowd on their feet the whole time. I sound like I'm being harsh here. I want to say like it was fine. I give it like one thumb up. It just wasn't what I was used to. It was maybe a little too much of what I was used to, and I had seen so much of Reasonable Doubt played on Friday night. I was watching too many videos of it, and that is the show that I would have liked to go to. Well, in hindsight, that was the probably the top show of what I saw. And even toward the end of the night, Guru played Dirt Off Your Shoulder during the encore. And I was like, we did that already. He's like, all right, let's just take him home. And then it's you lose some of the magic there. My friend Nia that was with us thought that the um, Beyonce set that she probably had an actual set prepared. So there's that too. And everything probably got cut short. It was cool that Rihanna was there. Yeah, how can you not like Rihanna? That was pretty cool. They did run this town, and the clips were there. Man, again, if this were so much earlier, or if I maybe was still into it as much as I used to be, I was really trying to recapture my youth, and it could have. 3 hours sooner, it could have. I think it would have been a nice bow on top. And maybe I'd say, maybe this hustle culture is not for me anymore. But that was a great way to see one of my idols. And you know what? I don't care. People make faces when I say I like Jay-Z. I kind of get it sometimes. But you know what? I fucking like the Rolling Stones. I like Billy Joel. They got a lot of hits. You can't knock it. There is a lot of artistry there. But the marketing machine, baby, the music business, that's what it is. Um, but I can't knock the guy's hustle because excuse me, his effect on the culture had us dressing a certain way, changing the way we dress, everyone who was there. So I'm going to try to avoid that. I don't need to give you a blow-by-blow review. I'm not a music critic. I'm not a music critic. Uh, what else? Um, my girlfriend made a point that there's a rock element to Jay-Z, and there is. He plays with the band. Normally, it's kind of heavy. It's great. The live music's great. He doesn't use a backing track. Fat Joe used the backing track. I think Tana Taylor used the backing track. I think that's where they went wrong. Young Jeezy was there. He didn't use a backing track. I was hoping for a Scarface appearance, but I guess that was only like two songs. But and it is New York, so he did his Southern thing. He brought JD out. He brought Jeezy, as I said, and who else was from the South? Clips. So yeah, that was pretty cool. My take, that was pretty cool. But I think my younger self would say this was the last one. Actually, wait a minute. My younger self would say that was a great show. My older self, it's like it was okay. It was okay, and it's kind of funny because there is a lot. Hove has a lot riding on it. Like, look, I'm a big fan. Was a big fan. I'm still a fan. And he always gets critiqued. Down very Disney. People to the point of the rock element. People used to dress up like Bono and U2. I mean, there's something to it. We are all, but it's silly sometimes to look around at grown men when we really like amped it up. Like, I don't wear this chain every day. I don't think I look like I do. I went out and bought a black hat to match because I'm not wearing a fucking Yankees hat. I will not wear a Yankees hat. That's another marketing thing. The two dots over the Y. I don't think it's some deep symbol. I think it was like a smart move to then you can easily brand the Yankees hats. It's all a rollout. Master, master Reaganomics, right? But let's get into the proceedings this evening. I mean, something was lost on me. I would love to see him. I'll probably see him again in Philly. Let's be real. He puts out another album. I might give this another shot. But I think that's where I am with it right now. And pretty much all I have to say. Happy to talk to you, anybody about it and get deep in there. Um, I just think the music's still great. I think the message gets missed. All right. It's late. I'm recording this about an hour before I put it out. So maybe you heard that or maybe you didn't. I don't know. So after that, I just slept all day or kind of dawdled about. Tried to do this earlier, as I said. Friday night, though, I got a really great opportunity. I performed at Don't Tell Comedy in Morgantown, Pennsylvania, the Morgantown Coffee House. Big, big thank you to Meredith Lee and Paul Spratt for allowing me to come on that show, and a huge, huge thank you to Steve Rinaldi, who offered me some of his time. I hope to be working with Steve on some projects in the future. Um, we've known each other for a long time. He liked the fact that I was getting back into comedy and more and not promoting as much as I used to. And he's giving me some tips on performing. So what I'm going to do is first tell you what Don't Tell Comedy is. Don't Tell Comedy is a brand, a company that is national, and Paul and Meredith run like the Chester County group of it, franchise if you want to say. And there are comedy shows that are like pop-ups in different areas, oftentimes in places where you wouldn't expect a comedy show, a museum, a library, whatever, a bookstore. I mean, there's different variations of it. Sometimes it is in a traditional space where you might see a comedy show. Anyhow, um, Steve asked me on Thursday if I wanted a spot. He wanted to see me perform. I think it went well. I have another spot with him at the Stress Factory at the end of this month. I do need to get a tape of that so I can start shopping this around to bookers. And I think I know having him as a help will push this forward for me. And we are going to help each other out. That's the plan.
Let's go, clap it up. Let's go,
All right, Elvis and PA, we're doing it. Give it up for yourselves on a Friday night. Right? Yeah. So I'm from Philly. I grew up in Philly, and coming out this way, I love it. I think Pennsylvania's beautiful. You guys do get a bad rap, but when I was coming up, I saw the Hollywood Casino. I was like, I made it. We are here. We're doing it. I turned 40 recently, and I found myself lucky because my grandparents are still alive. Because not enough people call you handsome when you're 40. That stops a lot sooner. I had a haircut right before I came up here. Not outside, but like on the way here. And isn't it weird? Like I'm embarrassed to go out like right after I get a haircut. I feel like I should be home with a bonnet on my head. Like rest your head until tomorrow. That's how that should go. I found out recently that I am not cut out for the corporate world. And I found out because I checked my notes from a meeting, and all I had written was the word therefore. That's it. Someone made a point, drew a logical conclusion, therefore. Could have been like, we had a great year, therefore bonuses. Could have been like, CEO's pending lawsuit, therefore cash bar at the Christmas party from now on. It could have been anything like that. The CEO there was strange. She did like her white wine, but she did not believe in candy. That's a weird thing to tell someone. Like, I knew she didn't believe in remote work and diversity, but I drew the line. That was really weird. I remember asking her assistant when I started the job what she was like, because she seemed kind of intense. And her assistant went, well, she won't trick you, but she will test you. So I don't like that you answered that with a riddle. And for someone who doesn't believe in candy, you're running this shop like Willy Wonka. Like, when I quit, she took me on a boat ride, dumped me in the chocolate river. That's what happened there. But summer is upon us. It's here. I do beg of you, if you're having corn on the cob and you bust the stick of butter out for it, you have to hold your cob like a rolling pin, like you're gonna eat it. You can't go vertical. I saw someone go long ways buttering, just working that thing, moving it up, I'm getting all charged up at a family barbecue, They're palming the bottom of the butter drizzle. I said, damn, Dad, you cup the balls too? Jesus. Oh my God. Oh. But somebody used margarine. I don't know what animal was doing that. Water-based only. Water-based lubricants only. I've been trying to clean up my algorithm a bit. I think a lot of us do that. Maybe, I don't even know if it's a generational thing, but I know a lot of us trying to clean up the algorithm, right? Because it leads down a dark path often, as you probably guessed my attitude here. But like, it's hard because, as I said, like turning 40, and I turned 40. Apologies, got to reckon with that. And I'm kind of still chasing the dragon of my earliest sexual experience. Like, I'm so old, I had to clean up my first sexual experience with MapQuest papers. You know? Like, luckily I got a GPS eventually. Something else to spit in, you know? Well, I did that joke at another show, and a guy shouted out, I saw that one coming. I was like, if I were quicker, I would have said, well, I didn't, and that's why I needed the MapQuest papers for this, you know? But the algorithm situation is kind of strange because, you know, you have to get off of the naughty stuff, and, you know, for me, I went down a motivational path that was kind of crazy. You know, I went from like twerkers to tarot card readers, and for those of you that are older, like, you know, like TikTok cleavage to Miss Cleo, like that kind of thing, you know? And it's been weird being on that path, but I did find out that if you post enough motivational quotes, you don't need insurance for a Zoloft prescription. They just give it to you. They're like, oh, you're sad, you're trying to inspire people, right? I do think that people who use the phrase a friend to all is a friend to none just need better conflict resolution skills. That's how I feel about that. I also think that, you know, I don't know if it's weirder to get away from like the new kind of porn because it's kind of weird, you know, stepmother and stepdaughter attack stepbrother. Someone's related in that equation. You've taken me out of the element. I don't want anything to do with that. But like, is it weirder if I go back to like the old videos that I'm like used to? Like, I know these folks, I know what they're into, right? Kind of like, this is Michelle, she's behind on her rent, but wait till you see her negotiation skills. They're fantastic, you know? It's tough. It's tough living in this world when you know, I kind of want to take down the patriarchy. Can we get behind that? Yeah. But I, in my own way, can only do it by watching lesbian porn. That's what I've committed to. You know, I'm so glad you love Justin's strap joke because I was a little concerned about coming out here. But I want to get the dicks out of porn. That's my mission. That's my slogan. I don't even want to see a strap on. Right? That's too much of a power dynamic. But like, if you come at me with like a double-sided dildo, right? Everybody's kind of putting the same effort in, getting the same result. That's really proletarian. It really is. Are you familiar with Karl Marx's lesser-known work, The Ass-to-Ass Manifesto? It's fantastic. It's good stuff. Those are my politics. Those are my economics. So I want to leave you folks with this. So I grew up in kind of like a dirtbag neighborhood that leads to having like dirtbag tattoos. And I have like my high school logo with the word loyalty. I have Jay-Z lyrics. I have Veni Vidi Vici. I don't know what I conquered really. But I designed a tattoo, and this is proof that your brain is not really fully developed until you're past 25. I designed a tattoo that's 2 Philly street signs that say humble beginnings. And it gets worse from there because I then added a very remedial drawing of the Philadelphia skyline. And as I've gotten older in this climate, it's very hard to tell people you're a progressive socialist with the Comcast tower tattooed on your shoulder blades. You guys have been great. You've been a lot of fun. Give it up for Meredith. I'm Steve Bailey. Thanks very much.
So overall, that went well. Those folks were prepared for comedy. This is kind of like what I've been working on at open mics. And then the next thing that I will do, hold on, pause. I didn't have this in. I hope I, I hope this sounds okay now. Okay. Anyway, so I think that went well overall. That's the set that I've been working on at open mics mostly. I mean, I have more material than that, but I wanted to be quick. I wanted to know that it hit. It's not always going to be that easy. I got queued up by Justin Lamar, who runs a great show, Jokes and Dranks in Abington every Thursday. It's an open mic that starts at 6:30. 6:30 signups. Make sure you get there early to sign up and you go on basically in order. So be respectful of the room. Great audience, great actual audience, not just comics, and that's been fun when I've gone there before. So anyhow, in this set, I say too much. I lean on that because I was trying not to say like or but the knows got to me. I also kept saying it's weird as like a segue, but that's what I have to chop down. And Steve gave me the advice that I'm like running into my jokes. Like, and my girlfriend who gave me the riddle line also said like I wasn't interacting with the crowd. And you are kind of focused on so many different things that some stuff is gonna fall through the cracks. Like a woman clapping when said I was 40. I didn't respond to that. So anyhow, overall, I think it was fine. I love rural Pennsylvania. I think, well, I love the backdrop of rural Pennsylvania. I hope I can like the people a little bit. Um, no, I don't think everyone's a shit-kicking hick. That I know. That's a good part about being from a big city and liking to bop around to the scenery of small towns. But I also recorded something last week. I don't know how much of that I'm going to make into this, or it's going to be in this. And I am a little cautious about putting some of that out there. So that's kind of like my 444. So maybe this like messy episode will have some of that. Maybe I should put this up front. This is a messy episode. Just be ready for just be ready for it. But you'll get to hear my stand up. You'll get to hear about Jay-Z's concert and you'll get to hear maybe some more about my personal life. All right. Well, here I am sitting down with my Netflix documentary with a podcast that I was unable to do. I feel like I'm turning into a bottom tooth talker, and I don't really like that. I don't know if I do it on purpose because I see it, or it's just like my mustache gets in the way. I don't think I was ever a bottom tooth talker, giving people the ick, the reference from a year ago. So, well, it's late. Unfortunately, could not have the great Steve Rinaldi on this episode, but we will. It's a summer break. I'm recording part of this on Thursday night before the weekend of July 12th. On the 12th is Sunday. The weekend of July, I guess, 11th, 10th and 11th, whatever. Couldn't do that backwards. I'm going to see Jay-Z this weekend. This would be my eighth or ninth time seeing him live. Um, Might be a little weird, but how could I not go to a 30th anniversary show? I'm a little nervous about it. I can't believe I'm talking to myself. I'm a little nervous because I'm going to the third show. So for anybody who doesn't know, it's Reasonable Doubt on Friday night, Blueprint on Saturday night, and then Extra Innings. So Extra Innings sounds great, but it could be some shit where like I would love it probably as like a hardcore fan. Um, if it is like B-sides and kind of smackers. Well, no smackers. It's Michael Rap. I fucking stink right now. This is terrible. So yeah, I'm going to see Jay-Z for the 30th anniversary shows, and I'm nervous because I'm going to the third show. The first night is Reasonable Doubt, and of course other hits. The second is the Blueprint, and then some other hits. But one wonders, like, will he pull out some bangers from the Blueprint on Friday night, or will he at least do Can I Live and maybe Feeling It on Saturday night? But I don't know. I might get a blend of the two, which could potentially be the best thing. It also could be similar to most shows as artists put on their greatest hits. But the thing about the God MC Hove is that he performs with a live band, which not a lot of rappers do. Um, of concerts, surprisingly, for being a big fan. Been to Jay-Z, been to several festivals, been to Yeezy a few times. Don't think I'll be doing that for a while. Um, Nothing to do with the anti-Semitism or anything. It's just I didn't really like anything after The Life of Pablo. Um, but shout out to Steve Rinaldi who couldn't make it, unfortunately, but we will be recording together. And Steve may be putting me on a show this Friday night. Don't Tell Comedy. So I'm going to record this episode in pieces um, because I'm probably going to have to go out to the Burbs on Friday night and I get a haircut in between. So I might look a little different on the YouTube version. Sure, you're all out there watching and wondering and understanding. I can't really get into anything deep. Perhaps something will help me do that. Wow. Wow. I said, wow, what a wonderful audience. I felt like slowed down a little bit, and part of me was like that might be a good thing. But basically I'm also a little concerned about that I can't like keep up in conversation. That's part of why I'm doing this podcast. I should just like put it all out there. My life has been pretty messy for about a year. Not like I lost a relationship or whatever, but I was in a really bad job, left it, took a pay cut, went back to my old job, sort of, but it's a little easier. Um, my dog died. R.I.P. Mosey. Um, because he was 15. It wasn't anything sudden, and it was a beautiful experience. But that it does fuck you up. And when I talk to comedians about their reasons for starting, grief, loss, there's always like even if that's not the reason, I feel like a lot of conversations do mention a parental death, um, a divorce. It's usually like, you know, every new beginning comes from some beginning's end. And that's where I am right now. It's weird talking loud about this to myself or to you folks. It's usually reserved for therapy, but I don't want to bring that energy to the stage. And I don't want it to bleed into my material. I want to make points about the world. I want that life's too short feeling to be the drive for me to like get my voice out there, but not only talking about how short life is, right? Outside of interviews and things like that. So, not to smell myself here, I just think um, there's a lot that can be done um, in having a voice and a platform. So why not? I have opportunities. I have opportunities to make a lot more money too, and I haven't taken them. Um, I don't think that's a matter of being content. It's a matter of valuing my time. I don't know where stand-up comedy is going to go. I've always wanted to be a filmmaker. I always wanted to be in the arts, and I didn't want to become one of those people that stopped, like just didn't. I hate when people talk about, oh, I used to do this. I used to do this. I want to do that. Well, if you did, you'd do it. I also don't want to like half-ass everything. Like this production value needs to be better. Um, I need to step my game up. I need to go to more mics. And you know what? Like I got on a showcase within 4 months of performing because someone like me that was based on the person running the show seeing me at several open mics. That does give me confidence, right? Just because I'm kind of in a little bit of a lull, I think I may have gotten too comfortable on stage and that might be coming across as arrogant or trying to be too smart. And then also doing a lot of the same material for months and months. Um, by the way, now that I think I'm too smart, I think my vocabulary and writing is better, and then I try to rehearse that, and that becomes an issue. So just have to be comedy is interesting. You have to be accessible, right? You have to relate to everyone in the room, and also you have to have this elevated sense of um, there should be a reason why people are paying attention to you. Um, so like for me in my career, people were always paying attention to me because I knew what I was talking about my with what I was selling essentially. It's a little easier to sell something when it's social services, but the thing that comes with that, you lose yourself a little bit. Um, people start looking like dollar signs. You could raise, and also you raise like millions of dollars, and it's not like that money's coming in your pockets. It's not like actual sales. People in actual sales, for my friends that do it, I love you, but it's there's it's tough. I mean, it's a tough. I can see it when you're dead behind your fucking eyes. Um, but I think some people are very happy, and if you can believe in what you're selling, great. I think it's the bullshit artists that are the ones that cause all the problems. And somehow a lot of them make all the money too. But I don't want to turn into a guy who's like resentful of people that do well. I think I'm getting ahead of myself and my thoughts. Basically, I see comedy as something like what George Carlin was able to do. And I think that's coming back in some ways. Like I think a Mark Maron type. Um, but I also think we're getting too soft and like not being able to, it's not always about playing the middle. It's about um y- it's not about saying the R word, the F word, whatever, right? But we have to chill on policing the language when for the people that we know are on your side. This is going to turn into a pronouns thing, and that is not what I want to do. That's not my speed. Also, that's very 2017. Just people need to everybody chill on that. Um, it's not that hard to lean it to respect someone's pronouns. But I think what I'll do for this episode is maybe I'll have KG, um, my partner. Maybe I'll have them. You don't know, is it a man or a woman? Maybe I'll have them record some conversation in the car on the way up to the concert. I wonder if I could do this like a really choppy episode. Um, because I'm sure whatever you're hearing right now has been heavily redacted. Um, I tried to do this a long time ago. I tried to do this during COVID when like everybody had it. It's also weird to fucking look into the camera. Like I'm in a mirror talking to myself. A little bit of a rehearsal, but I don't want to wake anyone up. And then I, I do keep my voice at a low pitch. Like I find it hard to yell. Like I have to be really mad to yell. My voice comes through as like a stern situation. Um, I'm sure have I yelled at some people before? Have I yelled at a very good friend of mine who, if he's listening to this, is probably laughing his ass off, but who will remind me of that he is the better person because he never yelled at me. Um, hey baby, show business, no business like it. Um, I think. Oh, I think I was doing that podcast during COVID, probably as like a weird outlet. It was a strange time. I am so glad that those things are scrubbed from the internet. I was just basically I was trying to be Joe Rogan, and then I was trying to do these like one man things. Uh, Actually, I was thinking I was trying to be Joe Rogan in 2019, so that was about on point. And then the things got saturated. Yeah, like I might get a last minute call, guys. Don't tell comedy. I might be going out to Morgantown Coffee House And, you know, later in the episode of how Morgantown Coffee House really was. Maybe this is the episode when I have a day off Monday after the Jay-Z concert that I just heavily edit, throw some clips in, like do the real thing. Um, but the thing is, with what I was doing in COVID, it was inauthentic because it it was all about like it was like comedy for a minute. I was like just getting high and drinking and thinking that I was going to be so naturally fucking funny and conversational, and because I did it for a living does not does not work. Same thing when people say like they're funny in class. I was never the funny person growing up. I was quiet. Maybe I was funny in things that I wrote. I was always nice or whatever. Um, but this is different. So back then I was just trying to get followers. It's like there was really no point to it, right? So at least with a bit later, this is a bit of a niche, even though I'd like to have more riffing and more like traditional podcasting but I only have an hour. And most of the people that are coming on here I've only met like one time. Philly area comics is gonna, or I've never met actually. So what you see on a bit later is um this is people who flexing. So this is people who I met mostly on Reddit or through Instagram. And this, when I'm on there, I guess what I'm saying is the first time is meeting them. First time meeting them is when I'm interviewing them. It's not much of a conversation beforehand. Um, so it's all good. Um, but I think with Philly area folks, I think I'll have 4 or 5 episodes that I can bank. This week I was behind on an episode. It's the middle of July. Um, everything I had in the bank caught up with me, and it's been fun. I do think that I've been interviewing a lot of older women, which seems to be my demographic, and perverts. Don't think that's not what I'm saying. Um, but like, sweet mom and grandmom types. And um, it's interesting. They, I think, get into it because they're looking for something um, in their lives that I think again it fills a gap. There could be loss. One woman, Darcy Chris, was great. She had a what did she have? An existential crisis, she said, of identity when her kids were gone. Either moved out from college, and she decided to pursue stand up. Um, and then Pamela Wardrip experienced the loss of a partner. There was several like partner losses. Um, Someone like Sushi Chicago, check out her special on July 23rd. She she basically was like a life's too short. Same thing with Kevin, who was like the sweetest guy. And now that I'm only like I'm only like 13 episodes in, if we count this as a 13th episode, this could be a bonus. Um, that it seems so long ago that I started talking to people. Like Rob Cunningham was great. Um, And I think I'll just start shouting people out. Jack Brown and Ashley Nimmo. Everyone had a unique voice, and I'd like to have everyone back. Gretchen D, shout out Gretchen, first episode. I wasn't wearing the black t-shirt, and I didn't have a background yet. Um, nothing was uniform. I was in my girlfriend's office, and that's forever documented, forever cemented now on the internet, which is great. Um, and I think at this point, what I'd like to understand is what people are really looking for, right? Um, this is more than just a stand-up comedy thing. I'd like this to be about like a life journey. And the interesting thing about that is that it's not I wrote a lot of human interest stories when I was growing up, and you can't like dig into stuff in your local paper and magazines and stuff, right? You can't really get below the surface. You barely scratch it with people, right? It's about what bars they like to go to. Uh, they tell a little bit of their story, right? But comedians, people in the arts are so very much open, that you can easily get people to open up. It's not about necessarily my interviewing skills, which are fantastic, by the way. But it's it's about, I think, making people feel comfortable, right? That's why I don't really banter a lot. I listen more. I'm not just trying to bullshit. Some of this I really do want to have fun. It'll make it more entertaining for you, for the listener. But if you've been like kind of listening a bit and you're a little confused, like why I ask some of the same questions, fair, I can start that. But it's because I'm trying to highlight the person. Some of it, yeah, I could do a little more work, right? I could make up the quality a bit to have some more fun. But we're at the baker's dozen, baby. Um, and I don't know, maybe I'm maybe I start talking like that for the summer of 2026. Um, but that's what this is, man. I'm just experiencing loss. Oh no, you may have lost audio. Check, 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 check. Microphone check. Check, 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 check. Microphone check. There we go. All right, now we're gonna back. But in experiencing loss, I think what I've come to learn is that you start searching for a community because like in 2022, I started to get into the Grateful Dead a little bit. I got into them more like I was starting before COVID, I would say. But I told you at the upfront, Jay-Z guy, raps Grateful Dead. I never had like an identity on my own, right? I grew up listening to a lot of like classic rock got passed down to me from my dad. Hip hop was my thing, but you outgrow it. I shouldn't say it. You outgrow it. You say you outgrow it, but Hove is basically the Rolling Stones at this point, doing a 30th anniversary tour, and still going strong, still very much a master of his craft. Um, Another reason to try and tie this in with a bit later. Maybe I'll just keep rambling and get this done by get this done by Sunday before we go, and then have a little clip at the end. Um, but yeah, so I got into the Dead, and then my uncle died, and that was a tough loss. It was sudden and also somewhat expected. It was a fucking weird thing, and it's one of those things that I haven't been ready to really write about. Maybe I can finally finish this Men's Health Month essay since we're 9 days past Men's Health Month ending. Doesn't matter. Men's mental health, rather. Anyway, he died. And then I really dove into the Dead. I think I was like searching for community, which is still elusive to me. I'm not, guys, I'm booked on Don't Tell Comedy. Well, Morgantown, Pennsylvania, get ready because I'm coming through with some heat. You heard that therefore joke? You heard that MapQuest joke? I also, have you seen this? Have you heard about this? I also got another one of like corn on the cob that you have to hold it like a rolling pin because I watched someone kind of go butter to like stick of butter long ways to the cob and just kind of very sensual. Just why are we jerking off the corn on the cob, you know? Um, that's the thing. You gotta stop. You gotta stop saying you know. Stop saying and stop saying you know. I am a good public speaker. A lot of what I've done has been, off of reading in a teleprompter, but I, I mean, a lot of it's been stuff I've written myself. So this comes the memorization part. So anyway, the Morgantown Coffee House, huh? That's where I'll be Friday, July 10th, 2026. I hope I'm not talking about bombing. I'm finding it like a little hard to judge. Like if people like, I know you need like the laughs a minute. It's really crazy that they're putting me up here. I don't even have a video clip yet. I should probably get one tomorrow. Um, I'm like 8 months into doing comedy. I mean, this is kind of like my third go around, but I'm 8 months in, and I don't think I'm ready to have a clip online. I can have a clip that I can send to people. So tomorrow, yeah, I should definitely tape that. Uh, Also, I'm gonna have to put multiple shirts in my fucking car. Get a little haircut first. Have her put a little product in it. What should I wear? Hmm. Well, at least they'll know I'm putting on fresh clothes. Yeah, I'll change when I get there. Uh, but I'm also trying to look for a place to live. That's a new one. I was in the same place for 5 fucking years, and now that's gone. Um, but I can afford to live somewhere. I just don't know where I want to live. Uh, Let me hit him with a prayer hand emoji. Thank you. He's he's introduced me to people. He's introduced me to people that I've worked with that are managed. He introduced me to who is now the biggest comedian touring the planet, Shane Gillis. Um, Funny story there. Rinaldi thought that I started like only producing Shane Gillis shows and kind of like forgot about him or something. The thing that happened was I stopped like producing shows. I produced 2 shows with Shane Gillis, 3 if we want to talk about one that was fucking terrible on my part, um, which is really funny, like really funny fucking story that I should maybe hold on to. It involves a crab house and a young promoter and, who got a room for free at a place that was normally known for hosting hip hop shows, and they had nothing real. I didn't know how to operate in that uh, the bad shows, Shane Gillis's of the world, and it's weird to like name drop that a lot, but I it's kind of what happens, man. Like you meet people, they become they stick with something. They overcome adversity, they stick with it. And that's what this is teaching me. You know, consistency is key is the name of the first episode because that's what we got on of like this only works if you keep at it. And a lot of the people, actually everyone I'm interviewing so far has been doing this much longer than I have. Even though I was in the game a long time ago, but it's a different ball game and I didn't do it well back then. Let's just be real. I didn't do it well and I didn't keep with it. I was maybe doing it well in that comics liked me, but not keeping with it is the big failure there. I kind of want some chocolate covered pretzels, you know? Like maybe I just let this keep recording and maybe I maybe I breathe a little on this and if I want to come back to it, I come back to it. That's what I got, folks. I think I should record my set. If I can't give you a perspective on something, I'm just a guy rambling about stand-up comedy. A guy who's made about from doing comedy made about $40. But
Well, it is 10:10 on Thursday, July 9th, 2026. We'll see where the next part of this episode picks up at.